Hello everyone, my name is Srafi and I'm happy to meet you all, and today we're going to be talking about the leaks that came out today, March 18th. So first of all, they started mentally with a bunch of cards. I can't get too excited about any of these because they messed with a bunch of Transcendosaurus cards back in October and they haven't come yet, but these cards may be coming to the game sooner or later, so take a look. We got Rescue Ace, Alert, Contain, Extinguish, Rescue Ace Monitor, Rescue Ace Impulse, Rescue Ace Hydrant, Rescue Ace Turbulence, Rescue Ace Fire Attacker, Rescue Ace Fire Engine, Rescue Ace Airlifter. If you don't know what Rescue Ace is a deck that's actually so good that it still sees play in Master Duel, and I think there's probably like a little bit of a TCG showing left, although most people will argue that Snake Eyes is really what enables that. Rescue Ace is a fun deck. They're all fire monsters. Some of them are warriors, some of them are machines, and they do cool things. And they have a bunch of spells and traps that have an additional effect if their main monster, Rescue Ace Hydrant, is on the field, which is just a level 1 that enables you to activate a spell or trap to turn that set. Cool. I think the deck would be extremely fun, especially if we get Emergency right away. But I don't know. I mean, it will be powerful. I'll go ahead and say that. Like, some people are denying that Rescue is going to be so powerful because Turbulence can't set... the main power of Turbulence, which is their boss monster, is that it can set up to 4 spells and traps from your deck to the graveyard, or to the field, but we only have 3 zones. But they're discounting the fact that you only have 3 monsters to control as opposed to 5, so you don't need that many spells and traps. So it's perfectly fine. That's Rescue Ace. We're also seeing Exo-Sisters. Exo-Sisters are an archetype of level 4 spellcasters that turn into rank 4 warriors. They're all light, and they all have abilities that punish players for special summoning from the graveyard, which is funny. They can also exceed summon during the opponent's turn. They can special summon themselves. It's a very eloquent deck, very straightforward type of deck. If it was in Duel Links, it would be very powerful. It's consistent, it's easy to use, and it would not need a skill, very similarly to how Tri-Brigades came without a skill and they did fine. So, I mean, I think that if Exo-Sisters came out, people would play it. It would probably be like a rogue deck that didn't see like tier lists or tournament play, but the people who buy Exo-Sisters and stick with it and get good with the deck will see plenty of success with it. Then we also have Resonators. So we have Bone Archfiend, Crimson Gaia, Fiendish Golem, Scarred Dragon Archfiend, Soul Resonator, and Vision Resonator. Basically, like all the new Resonator support. Obviously, we don't have Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss yet, or Red Supernova Dragon, but you know, we have the new stuff. It's cool. It's a cool idea. I like the idea of Resonators getting a skill and getting new cards. Would these cards be really powerful in Duel Links? Let's talk about it when we get to the skill. But if you're wondering what these cards do, they basically enable you to make multiple Synchro monsters with Resonators, which has always been a problem of theirs, that they always ended on 1 monster. The Scarred Dragon Archfiend makes it very easy to end on 2 monsters with Resonators, which gives them more staying power. And that is basically it. You got a couple of random cards like the Final Bringer of the End Times, which is a card that is not even in the TCG yet. So if this card comes to Duel Links right now, it would be hilarious. Anyway. There's Soulful Chords as well. If you like Soulful Chords, there's new Soulful Chord cards. I'm not going to go over these. That's stupid. Alright. Alright, new skills. Akira. You can only use the skill's 2nd and 3rd effects once per duel. At the start of the duel, send 1 Tindangle card from your deck to the graveyard at your choice. Then set 1 Stairs of Mail to your field from outside your deck. You cannot normal or special summon monsters excluding special summons from the extra deck except for Tindangle monsters. But you can set non-Tindangle monsters, interestingly enough. Send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard, then you can send up to 2 Tindangle cards or Dangle's Protection from your deck to the graveyard. And if your opponent controls a monster, you can make face-down Tindangle monsters you control become flip summonable, which is interesting. So, if your opponent controls a monster, you can make your Tindangle monsters that are face down able to change their battle position, even if they couldn't currently change their battle position, which is very funny. Only once per duel. But that will... a skill that literally just makes it so that you can flip summon the turn that you set a card is what would be necessary to make like flip monsters viable. There are a lot of cards that do that, like Stairs of Mail, like Subterror Final Battle. So it makes sense that they just put it on a skill, which is kind of cool. So yeah, I like this. I like this skill. No, not make Tindangles good. Tindangles are bad regardless. It's not a good deck. Don't expect anything from it. But if you want to play Tindangles, this skill will enable your bad plays. For those of you who are wondering what these cards are, Stairs of Mail is a continuous spell card. During your main phase, you can activate this effect. Discard one Tindangle card. If you do, apply one of these effects. Change one face-down monster you control to face-up attack position. Change one face-up attack position monster you control to face-down defense position. This turn, you cannot discard another card with the same name for the effect of Stairs of Mail, even if this card leaves the field. So this is not a once-per-turn effect, but it is a once-per-card name that you discard. So if you did discard like Tindangle Angel, then you have to discard another Tindangle card besides Tindangle Angel to use the effect more than once. It's an interesting idea. Basically, it turns any card in your hand into a Book of Tayo. And I mean, the card comes for free with the skill, so I'm sure that you can either use it or you can not use it. You don't have to play the card if you don't want to. Discarding your card to trigger a flip summon effect is pretty rough. It does, I mean, the skill makes it so that you literally don't have to do this, but only once per duel, whereas this card lets you do it more than once. So I feel like between the two, it will definitely make Tindangle monster effects more reliable, but they're not good effects, so it doesn't matter. Send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard, and then you can send up to 2 Tindangle cards or Nagel's Protection from your deck to the graveyard. Nagel's Protection is a continuous spell card. Tindangle monsters in your main monster zone cannot be destroyed by battle or by your opponent's card effects. Making defense position monsters unable to be destroyed by battle can be actually pretty good. Once per turn, if your Tindangle monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, the damage is doubled. You can banish this card from your graveyard, discard one Tindangle card to add one Nagel's Protection from your deck to your hand. Okay, so this is also bad. Okay, remember, to do this, we are sending one card from our hand or field to the graveyard. Now, that card could be Stairs of Mail, but if it's not, then you are sending 2 cards from your deck to the graveyard, and if you want to get your Nagel's Protection from your deck, you want to, first of all, you have to play 2 Nagel's Protections at that point. One of them does, get milled, but the other one, it's being used to search. But then you have to, pitch a card from your hand, banish this card from your graveyard, and discard a Tindangle card to add Nagel's Protection from your deck to your hand. So you are going super minus. You don't have enough cards to do this. You only have 4 cards in your opening hand. Yes, you're getting an extra card with the Stairs of Mail, so it's like you have 5 cards in your hand, but the Stairs of Mail also requires you to discard cards. So this seems awful. What do Tindangles do? Hold on. Let's see these amazing effects that you're gonna go -8 for. Intruder. Add a Tindangle card from your deck to your hand. Protector. Change 3 face-down monsters you control to face-up defense position. Then if all those monsters are Tindangle monsters, you can add that many Tindangle cards from your deck to your hand. Okay. Protector can offset the minus, but you have to actually have 3 monsters on your field in order for it to be worth it. So that's rough. Hound. Book of Moon something and gain its attack points. That's funny. Base Gardna, this is required to make the Link monster. If a monster is normal summon or special summon is now pointing to an opponent's Link monster, you tribute this card, special summon one Tindangle monster from your hand or deck and attack position or face down defense position. That's bad. Tindangle Doles. You can send one spell or trap from your deck to the graveyard. I mean, you don't need to because your skill does that for you, so this card probably won't see play at all if we even get it. Angel. You can special summon one flip monster from your hand or graveyard in defense position, except Tindangle Angel. Then if it is your opponent's battle phase, end the battle phase. Okay. Konami does not like cards that end the battle phase. We still don't have Swift Scarecrow yet, but Angel is a card that Akira played, so it will probably be printed. I don't know if it's going to be limit 3. I actually assume this card will be limit 2, just like how Balan Boxer Chief Second was limit 2. They really, really hate stall cards. But this card could potentially offset some of the discard costs by sending a card, a special summoning card from your graveyard. Tindangle Trinity. I've never seen this card. Flip, you can special summon one Tindangle Base Gardener from your deck. Based! Okay. This card will at least let you link summon. The link monster is not good, but okay. At least you have something that you're doing for all this minus. Tindangle Jirelth. You can take one flip monster from your deck and either add it to your hand or send it to the graveyard. That's okay. Okay, here we go. Tindangle Acute Cerberus. This is a Link 3 that has 0 attack points. It requires 3 Tindangle monsters. Gain 3,000 attack points if you have 3 or more Tindangle monsters with different names in your graveyard, including Tindangle Base Gardener. Gains 500 attack for each Tindangle monster it points to. At the end of the battle phase of this card declares an attack, you can special summon 1 Tindangle token with 0 attack and 0 defense. Okay. So, this is a Link 3 that requires work and requires you to play a bad deck to have 3,000 attack points. You could just play Tri-Brigades, and if you do, not only does your monster have 3,000 attack points, but you don't play bad cards, and it also can banish 1 card per turn without targeting. I'm just saying. You could just play Tri-Brigades. If you really want a Link monster with 3,000 attack points, they're right there. Sharaig is an SR. This trash is going to be a UR in a box you don't want to go into. Pointing it out. They hated him because he spoke the truth. Euler's Circuit. There's a field spell? Your opponent's monsters cannot attack if you control 3 or more Tindangle monsters. That's not going to be pretty. Once per turn during your standby phase, you can target 1 Tindangle monster you control. Give control of it to your opponent. You can banish this card from your graveyard, discard a Tindangle card, add 1 Euler's Circuit from your deck to your hand. The Nails Protection, Sale of Meow. Gargon's End. Target a Tindangle Link monster you control, equip this card to it. It cannot be destroyed by battle or card effects. Also, your opponent cannot target a card effects. Once per turn, if there are monsters in all zones the equipped monster points to, if there is still a monster in all zones the equipped monster points to, you can destroy this card, and all those monsters then inflict damage to your opponent equal to the equipped monster's attack before they were destroyed. This will not work because the Link monster has arrows that point in both diagonal directions. So we actually don't have a zone that, like, if you put it in the right monster zone, there will be no right zone to point to. If you put it in the left monster zone, there'll be no left zone to point to. So Gargon's End will never trigger. So, more reason this deck is bad. I thought there were 2 Tindangle Link monsters. I can't believe there's only 1. Tindangle Delaney. When you take battle damage from your opponent's attacking monster while you have 3 or more Tindangle monsters with different names in your graveyard, you can destroy the attacking monster, and if you do, special summon 1 Tindangle Acute Cerberus from your extra deck. Okay, the only good thing about that Link monster is that you can special summon it with a trap card without Link summoning it. Okay, that, admittedly, is good-ish. You still have to have a base Gardener in your graveyard. If you don't, then it doesn't do anything. It has 0 attack points. But, there you go. If you control no monsters in the extra monster zone, you can banish this card from your graveyard, target 3 Tindangle monsters with different names in your graveyard, special summon them in face-down defense position. Okay, so Delaney is the one good card in this entire deck, and it's a trap card that requires you to get hit. Oh, it also requires you to have 3 Tindangle monsters with different names in your graveyard. I missed that part. Oh, it does destroy the monster, though. Yeah, no, this card is good. It's probably going to be a UR. It might be limited to 1. Maybe it'll be like a UR, like a bundle card. It might be limited to 1, and it will require you to buy like another UR, like the Acute Cerberus, to use it. And it will still lose you more games than it wins. Just so you understand. Cool. Okay. Now that I've done my... that was 10 minutes of me reviewing Tindangles. They are bad. Akira Skill 2. You can use this skill second effect once per duel. At the start of the duel, add Tindangle Acute Cerberus to your extra deck, and then you can activate this card. One of these cards will be a Dark Fiend monster. Cool. You can use this skill second and first effects once per duel. Return 1 Tindangle Hound in your hand to your deck, then draw 1 card. If your opponent controls a monster while you control no monsters, reveal 1 dark monster in your hand, return 1 card from your hand to your deck, then set 1 Tindangle Hound from your hand or deck to the field. Its battle position can be changed. Okay. This is arguably better than this skill, which is crazy. This skill is meant to be like, oh, cool, you can do Tindangle-y things by going -4. Whereas this skill is, okay, we know what you want. You want to play Hound, and you want to do Hound control. Because Hound is the only good monster in this entire deck. Here, you get a free Hound. And that is honestly probably better than doing all that nonsense with milling. Remember that if you flip this card, it literally eats an opponent's monster's attack points forever. Then it sets them. So yes, Tindangle Hound is probably like the best card in the deck, and the fact that you can play it without special summoning it, or going through like the way that you would play this card normally, because you're not going to tribute summon this. The way that you would play this card normally is like you mill it, and then you use Angel to revive it, and then Angel dies because she got flipped during the battle phase, and then Tindangle Hound just kind of chills. God, this deck is terrible. I'm losing brain cells talking about this trash archetype. I'm sorry. I try to be nice. I try to be nice in every one of my videos, but I cannot stand bad decks. I'm sorry. You can only use the skills first and second effects once per turn. Assign one Tindangle monster from your hand to the graveyard. Add one flip monster with a lower level from your deck to your hand. You can also reveal one flip monster to instead set one Tindangle monster with a lower level from your deck to the field. And from turn 2 onward, make face-down monsters you control become flip summonable, and face-up monsters you currently control become usable as treated as Tindangle monsters when used as link materials. That's an interesting idea. So this is a like a generic flip deck skill. Shadal's could use a new skill. The Shadal skill that they currently have kind of only works if you go deep into Shadal. Although, to be fair, you don't get Shadal Fusion if you don't use the Shadal skill. But, I mean, this lets you add Shadal cards from your deck to your hand. That's one of the problems with the Shadal skill. It doesn't give you any sort of consistency. It actually rewards you for playing an inconsistent 30-card deck, which is frustrating and annoying. You could also play this with Subterrors. So yeah, like there are a lot of Tindangle players that like the pure Tindangle flip deck. So this is the skill for you guys. And honestly, the fact that you are playing non-Tindangles in your deck will probably make your deck better. So skill 4, Subterror, Shadal, Tindangle hybrid, probably the best version of Tindangles. I'm going to be honest. All right. We are away from the terrible cards. Let's look at good cards again. Yusei skill. You can only use the skill's second and third effects once per duel if your deck contains Stardust Dragon. Awesome. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except for junk monsters, Synchron monsters, warrior synchro monsters, light or wind monsters with a level. So junks, Synchrons, warriors, and then Stardust synchro monsters. Cool. Reveal one Synchron monster in your hand. Return one card from your deck to your hand. Then add one on your mark, get set, duel from your deck to your hand. So, this means that on your mark, get set, duel is being printed. What does this card do? On your mark, get set, duel is a continuous spell card. When it's activated, if you control no other cards, you can add one Synchron monster from your deck to your hand. Cool. This lets you get Junk Synchron. Once per turn during your standby phase, place one signal counter on this card. This is meant to be the speed counters from Speed World. You can remove 2 signal counters from this card, send this card from your field to the graveyard, draw 2 cards, then send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. You can only activate 1 on your mark, get set, duel per turn. Okay. This might sound familiar to you if you are a Yusei simp, either because you watch the anime or because you know about his skill. This is a reference to a speed spell that Yusei plays a lot called Speed Spell Angel Baton, which is essentially a weakened version of Graceful Charity. Draw 2 cards. It requires that you have 2 speed counters, which comes from 2 turns passing. And you draw 2 cards, then you send 1 card from your hand to the graveyard. So on your mark, get set, duel is literally them printing Angel Baton, but also giving you a little bit of an edge when it's first activated. This is great. I mean, Angel Baton is one of Yusei's most iconic cards. That's why they made it a skill, even though they've never printed it. So I like the idea that you just get this card from the start of the game. I mean, Angel Baton itself, like the skill, has been power crept so much that, you know, you can't play it anymore. So getting a card version and then getting other things that you get to do means that you can play Yusei. Like this feels like a Yusei skill, which is great. Send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard, then play one Wheel Synchron face up from your field, on your field from outside your deck. Add one Jet Warrior, Junk Archer, Junk Destroyer, Junk Warrior, Shooting Star Dragon, and Stardust Warrior to your extra deck, and Formula Synchron, Sonic Chick, and Speed Warrior to your graveyard from outside your deck. Okay. Let's chill out for a second. What? Okay. So you pitch a card, which could be, by the way, it says send one card from your hand or field to the graveyard. So if you have like a monster you want to revive, which you don't even need because you're putting 3 monsters in your graveyard, but if you have a monster you want to revive, you can pitch that. Or you can send the on your mark, get set duel to the graveyard. Like, you don't need it if you don't want to use the Angel Baton. So, like, I mean, if all you care about is adding a Synchron monster from your deck to your hand, then that's really good. And then you just pitch it so that you can play Wheel Synchron face up from outside your deck. Wheel Synchron is a level 5 tuner monster. And if this card you control is treated as a Synchro material, you can treat it as a non-tuner. During your main phase, you can immediately, after this effect resolves, normal summon one level 4 lower monster. Also, you're locked in Synchro monsters. You can banish this card from your graveyard, then target one Synchro monster you control, and reduce this level by up to 4. So 1, 2, 3, or 4. So this card is crazy good. It's already in the game, but you know, no one's really been able to use it effectively yet. So level 5, tuner or non-tuner, free normal summon, and it modulates the level of one of your Synchro monsters. And we have a Synchro monster that we get in the graveyard for free. Now, okay, so you play your Wheel Synchron, then you normal summon Junk Synchron, bring back the Formula Synchron, and the Formula Synchron is also a tuner monster. Then you can go Junk Synchron and Wheel Synchron into Stardust Dragon, and then Formula Synchron and Stardust Dragon into Stardust Warrior, or Shooting Star Dragon, and then you still have your normal summon. like you still have a normal summon after that. You probably like already have another Junk Synchron, and Junk Synchron is not once per turn. And you can bring back your Sonic Chick or your Speed Warrior. So Sonic Chick was level 1, Speed Warrior is level 2, so you get to choose what level you're going to use. It's pretty nice. You can go to Junk Archer, you can go to Junk Destroyer, you can go to Junk Warrior. Like this is literally just, you know, do you have 3 Junk Synchrons? Yes, you get to play everything that you want. This skill is great. I mean, when you're adding 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 cards to your extra deck, then you can literally play whatever Synchro monsters you want because you have all the thematic cards. I mean, you do have to play like light or wind monsters with a level, but I'm sure that you can find some good ones. By the way, Jet Warrior being in the extra deck is also very good because Jet Warrior is the best card to summon off of Stardust Warrior. And when I played a Stardust Warrior Turbo deck, I always felt like Jet Warrior was like a tax on my extra deck. It was a really good card because it would let you, when Stardust Warrior is removed from the field, then you get to special summon Jet Warrior from your extra deck, and Jet Warrior is treated as a Synchro summon. And then with Jet Warrior Synchro summon, you can target one card your opponent controls and return it to the hand. So it floats into a monster with 2100 attack points that bounces a card your opponent controls. That's decent. It's better than nothing. Like, Stardust Warrior is a really good card already. So the fact that it can float into a monster that bounces was really good. But Jet Warrior always felt like it was a tax to use Stardust Warrior's effect. So the fact that you get both Stardust Warrior and Jet Warrior for free, that feels really good, especially in a 9-card extra deck. Like, when I played Synchrons, I think there was like a 7 or 8-card extra deck. So having like a 15-card extra deck is going to be crazy. I'm looking forward to this. As far as what you do with this, I don't know. I mean, you get Stardust Warrior, and then I don't know what else you're going to do. I'm sure someone will post some sort of crazy OTK with it. Jack Atlas. You can only use the skill 2nd and 3rd effects once per duel. You cannot normal or special summon monsters except Synchro monsters and level 5 or lower Dragon Fiends. Cool. So we are locked into Synchros from the start. Perfect. No Mech Knights either. Send one card from your hand and one card from your field to the graveyard. Then set one level 8 Red Dragon Archfiend monster from your extra deck to your field. Its battle position can be changed. If only your opponent controls a monster, or if you control a face-up Red Nova Dragon, set one Fiendish Chain from your hand or deck to your field. It can be activated this turn. Fiendish Chain, of course, is a UR trap card that's from Shining Hope. Activate this card by targeting one effect monster on the field, negate its effects. Also, that face-up monster cannot attack, and when it is destroyed, destroy this card. Okay, so this is awkward. What if you don't have Fiendish Chain? I mean, I do. I'm sure most of you guys do too, but for the new players, I don't know why they're doing this. There's no way they're going to reprint this card because you are generic from another box. I understand that it's referenced in the new Jack Atlas card, Fiendish Golem, but what are they gonna do? Like, we already had a pickup box for both Resonators and Synchrons, so this is weird. Are they going to do it again? Are they going to make another, like when TJs came out? Remember, if you weren't around when TGs came out with the Shooting Star Dragon TGEX, we had a pickup box that had Resonators, Synchrons, and TGs in it. So it feels like they're setting that up again, and we're going to have another pickup box where it's just reprints of Red Nova Dragon and Shooting Star Dragon and Crimson Resonator and a few other cards. And then I guess they're going to stick Fiendish Chain in there, which is fine. It's a good UR. But this is just strange. Okay. Alright, so obviously the big question about this is, if you can't summon monsters except level 5 or lower, how are you going to make Red Dragon Archfiend since it's level 8? It's not like you can play 2 4s. Obviously you can make Red Rising Dragon, but Red Rising Dragon is an SR from an event that was like 7 years ago. To the point, like, Red Rising Dragon is so out of people's mind at this point that they literally went back and changed the last Jack Atlas skill that they released to add copies of Red Rising Dragon to your extra deck every time you used it, because so many people didn't have Red Rising Dragon. It's just an SR reward. Like, you can get 3 copies of it with 3 SR tickets, but people don't know to do that. So, I'm actually kind of surprised. Like, now that I know this skill is coming, I'm actually kind of surprised that we have like a ticket pickup. Like, we have this event like where you choose your cards, and that Red Rising Dragon is not one of the options. I feel like they're probably gonna do something where they give people, like, maybe they'll do another capsule event where, like, there's the capsules fill the screen and you get rewards, or maybe they'll do another mission bingo, even though they just did one. And they're probably just gonna give people Red Rising Dragon, because that card, like, if they want a Jack Atlas skill where you can't summon level 6s, so you can't use a level 6 and a level 2 to make Red Dragon and Archfiend, they have to give people Red Rising Dragon again. You can also use, because the Resonator players are going to yell at me at this point already, you can also use the new Bone Archfiend card, which can change its level. So Bone Archfiend is level 4. You can target itself and change its level to 5, and then use the new Soul Resonator as level 3 tuner. And that would allow you to summon Scar Dragon Archfiend, but I'm making a point, that's all. The skill is really good. I'm not denying the skill is good. I feel like maybe there's not enough, like, the fact that it's telling you that if you're going first, the way that you're going to get your interruption is by playing Red Nova Dragon, which is a card that has no interruption other than attacks, is kind of a letdown. That's kind of an indication that we're not going to really have it going first. Like, if our going first is just Fiendish Chain, which is a negate, it's not the greatest. I mean, okay, fine. You can argue that getting Fiendish Chain is kind of like having access to Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, because it negates a card that's face up on the field. But it only negates a monster. Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss negates any card. So, I don't know. This skill looks insane. This skill looks like you're going to, like, pop off. But that's because Stardust Warrior is a good card. Like, Stardust Warrior negates summons. Negating summons can win you the game. Red Nova Dragon is not going to win you the game unless it survives. So, yes, Jack is getting a bunch of, like, support cards. Bone Archfiend, Crimson Gaia, Fiendish Golem, Scarred Dragon Archfiend. But unless we get, like, Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, unless we get Red Supernova Dragon, unless we get Red Dragon Archfiend King Kalame, like, what are you going to make that's relevant, that's important, to, like, stop your opponent? Are you going to make Void Ogre Dragon? I mean, are you even going to run out of cards in Resonators? You don't run out of cards in your hand with Resonators like you do with Infernity. So I don't know that Void Ogre Dragon is going to be that good of a card. And even if it is, one spell and trap negate is not going to be potentially powerful enough. Like, what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to make Red Nova Dragon and Void Ogre Dragon? like, how would you do that? Yes, Scarred Dragon Archfiend can give you another level 8 Synchro monster. By the way, for those of you who are wondering, Scarred Dragon Archfiend is treated as Red Dragon Archfiend. It's level 8, and when you send it to the graveyard, you get to special summon a Red Dragon Archfiend from your extra deck. So it basically lets you get 2 monsters out. Like, you have, like, let's say you use Scarred Dragon Archfiend to make, like, a level 10, then you can summon Red Dragon Archfiend and use it to make, like, a level 9 or a level 12. You know, so that's what that is. But you can't use it to make Void Ogre Dragon, because Void Ogre Dragon is level 8. So you can't use a level 8 to make a level 8. It doesn't work like that. So, I don't know. This seems like the skill is really good, but I don't know. Without a boss monster, we're not going anywhere. Alright, Fiend skill. During your main phase, shuffle 3 Fiends in the graveyard, including a Fiend monster, then draw a card. Okay, so this is just Avaricious Fiends. Cool. I'm sure that... I don't know whether Unchained will continue to use the one that replaces a 5 or higher from their hand into the deck, or this. They'll probably... They like having cards in their graveyard. They'll probably... Well, but you can get Link monsters back with this. Yeah, they'll probably use this, actually. They like recycling their Link monsters. Okay. The dinosaur stuff is another video. It's already out. Declan Akaba. You can only use the skill second and third effects once per duel. At the beginning of the duel, add pendulum zones to your field. You cannot normal or special summon monsters, excluding special summons from the extra deck, except DD monsters. Reveal 1 Armageddon or 1 level 1 monster in your hand. Add 1 level 2 or lower DD monster from your deck to your hand, which I guess is going to be either Swirl Slime or Lamaya. If only your opponent controls a monster you control Triple D Doom King Armageddon, set 1 Dark Contact card from your field. It can be activated this turn. I mean, it depends on which Dark Contract cards we get, but some of them are pretty good. Like, there's some traps that are floodgates. There are some field spells that are floodgates. I don't know if they just add the skill and don't add any new cards, I don't think that this will do anything. But I mean, if they add new cards, then this could be potentially decent. It's too hard for me to tell since we don't have any leaks. We'll see what this skill is all about when new cards come. New skill for Tri-Brigades. You can only use the skill second effect once per duel. At the start of the duel, banish Tri-Brigade Bearbrum the Rampant Rager, Tri-Brigade Federate the Barren Blossom, Tri-Brigade Regal the Silver Shelter, and Tri-Brigade Shireg the Ominous Summoner from outside your deck. You cannot normal special summon monsters except Fallen of Albaz, Light Spellcasters, Beast Warrior or Wing Beast monsters, and Fusion or Link monsters. Reveal 1 Tri-Brigade kit in your hand, send 1 Tri-Brigade from your hand to the graveyard, and add 1 Tri-Brigade monster from your deck to your hand. Then you can play 1 Tri-Brigade monster from your hand to your field. Interesting idea. Okay, so you have to play 3 copies of kit, and then you just kit for game. So I guess you banish 4 monsters from outside your deck so that you can summon them all with Revolt. But no, because you can't do that. Because, well, I mean, I guess, hold on. I guess you can summon Federate and then 2 other monsters, and then Federate is a link too, and then you can make Shireg that way. I guess they figured out that with 3 zones, it was really awkward to actually use Tri-Brigade Revolt, which is why they're using this skill so that people who don't understand how the skill how the deck works can more easily use Revolt. Which, if that's the case, you know, good for them that they realize their mistake and they're correcting it. The skill is better than nothing. I will say that. That's all I will say. I think Tri-Brigades are fine. I think Tri-Brigades are in a good place. I don't expect Tri-Brigades taking any new cards, so whatever. This is fine. Subterrors. You can only use the skill second effect once per duel. You cannot normal or special summon excluding special summons from the extra deck except Subterror monsters. Reveal 1 level 4 Subterror monster in your hand. Set 1 the Hidden City or Subterror Final Battle from your hand or deck to your field. It can be activated this turn. If you set it from your hand, draw 1 card. Cool. Also, if you control no monsters while your opponent controls a monster, you can set 1 level 5 or higher Subterror monster from your hand or deck to your field. Its battle position can be changed. That's hilarious. Okay, so the Hidden City is a field spell that says, when this card is activated, you can add 1 Subterror monster from your deck to your hand. Once per turn, you can change 1 face-down monster you control to face-up attack and defense position, and once per turn, when your opponent's monster declares an attack, you can change 1 face-down defense position monster you control to face-up attack or defense position, then you can negate the attack, and you can only activate 1 the Hidden City per turn. So it flips, it searches, it flips on your turn, it flips on your opponent's turn, and negates attacks. This is really good. This is exactly what Subterrors need. I think this card is not like in the game right now. Yeah, the Hidden City is not in the game. So, Okay, so we're getting Subterror cards. That's interesting. Subterror Final Battle. Okay, so Subterror Final Battle is referenced in the skill as being used from the deck, but this card's already in the game. So that's weird. So maybe Subterrors will be part of the deck building box that that Dinos are getting, because there's usually 2 decks in there, and that'll give them an excuse to reprint Final Battle, because they're not going to reprint Final Battle in the Tindangle box. It's an interesting idea. Will Subterrors be good? Yes. Subterrors, unlike Tindangle, so Subterrors are much better than Tindangle. So, it's a meme that Subterrors, that flip monsters are bad. Subterror monsters are scary. Subterror, Behemoth, and Mostrix, flip, you can target one monster your opponent controls and banish it. That's not the same thing as Book of Mooning your monster and then gaining its attack points. Subterror, Behemoth, Ultra Famas. You can change all face-up monsters on the field to face-down defense position. That's Book of Eclipse, and it has 3,000 attack points. So you don't need a Link monster. Subterror, Behemoth, Stygo Kraken. You can target set cards on the field equal to the number of Subterror Behemoth monsters you control and destroy them. So, first, Book of Eclipse. Second, pop every card that's face down equal to the number of monsters you control. Subterror Nemesis Defender. Hold on. Subterror Behemoth Speleologist. You can target one monster on the field, change it to attack position. If it's in defense position, also changes attack to 0. So 3,000 attack points, target one of your opponent's monsters, its attack becomes 0, hit them for 3,000. And then the cards that we don't have yet, Subterror Guru. This is most likely coming because they reference a level 4 Subterror monster. Level 4 Dragon. Flip, you can add one Subterror card from your deck to your hand, except Subterror Guru. You can target one other face-up down monster on the field, change that monster. Also, this card to face down defense position. This is a quick effect if you control another Subterror card. Okay, so this card allows you to set 2 monsters, and it could be a Tindangle monster. And then it also allows you to flip to add Subterror cards. So this will be a great buff deck to them. Then they got a Link monster, Subterror Behemoth Fiendus. Link 2 requires 2 flip monsters, gains attack equal to the combined original levels of Subterror monsters used for its Link summon times 100. During your main phase, you can send one flip monster from your deck to the graveyard. If you do, special summon one monster from your hand and face down defense position to your zone this card points to. And then once per turn, if the monster this card points to is flip face up, add one flip monster from your deck or graveyard to your hand. Insane. Really good card. Subterror Succession. Yeah, okay, yeah. There's barely any Subterror cards left to add to the game. Looks like there's about 8 of them. So yeah, definitely a deck that could use a deck building box, and it would be insane. New skill for Book of Moon. You can use the skill's first and second effects once per turn, once per duel, 1 effect per turn if your deck contains 7 or more dark monsters. From turn 2 or onward, reveal 1 dark monster in your hand, shuffle 1 card from your hand into the deck, then add 1 Book of Moon from your deck to your hand, or you can place 1 Book of Moon from your hand on the bottom of your deck and draw 1 card. Cool. Book of Moon, good card. Book of Moon skill, good skill. Terrors of the Overroot. You can only use the skill's first effect once per duel. If only your opponent controls a monster, return 1 card from your hand to the deck, set 1 Terrors of the Overroot from your hand deck to your field. It can be activated this turn. Terrors of the Overroot is a trap card that says, target 1 card your opponent controls and 1 card in their graveyard, send the card on the field to the graveyard. If you do, set the card from the graveyard to the opponent's field. Funny card. It's about time this card got added to the game. I guess they were waiting for Tindangles because it's kind of like a flip card because it sets a card from your opponent's graveyard. So cool. Yeah, it's fine. Then there's a Springans skill. You cannot normal or special summon monsters except Fallen of Albaz, Light Spellcaster, Springans, or Fusionary Seas. Reveal 1 Fallen of Albaz or 1 Springans spell or trap from your hand. Send 1 Fallen of Albaz or 1 level 4 Springans monster from your hand or deck to the graveyard. Then send 1 Springans spell or trap from your hand or deck to the field. It can be activated this turn. If you sent a Fallen of Albaz card from your hand, you can add 1 Springans card from your deck to your hand. Sure. I mean, if you're going to play Springans, it's a fine skill. Springans doesn't do anything, so good luck. Cool. That's all the leaks. So dinosaurs are good. Watch my dinosaur video. Yusei's skill will be insane. Jack's skill will be mid. I'm very curious about what DDs are being added. Tri-Brigades will be fine. They're going to be like roguish. Subterrors will be good. Springans will be a meme. And Tindangles will be played by like 8 people, and all of them will regret spending their gems on it. My name is Srafi, and I was thrilled to have all of you with me.